Today I'm here with Jon Sanchez. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We just got done playing a show. And so I found your art through the Comic-Cons. So I was going to Comic-Cons, love going to Comic-Cons. And I'm a screenprint. I love screenprint. So I'm looking around, and there's a lot of great artists, but a lot of that, it's a lot of Gilsey stuff and a lot of, so I'm walking around and I see your booth and just beautiful screenprint artwork. And you have like a lot of gig posters and stuff, so I instantly started getting your work. I have 2 or 3 at my house right now. I got one hanging in the studio. If you look in any of the stuff we put in there, I got a Bill and Ted one that's sitting in there. It's pretty rad. So this is the artist. This is Jon. So say hello. Right. So today we're gonna go through, and I just want to talk a bit about your art and some of your pieces, and find out more about you. And so I wrote a list of questions, and if you guys. You guys know me at all from any other videos we posted. My list of questions are not written very well, but this one's not so bad, right? It's not.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good, right? It's good. I think it's good. All right, so let's start a little bit about you. So as an artist, right? So you obviously been doing art for a long time.
Yeah.
Where'd you start, and what got you into it?
Well, I've been drawing since I was a kid. Illustrating all through middle school, high school, college. I took up graphic design in college, and that's what I do for my day job. I work for the university here.
A full artist.
Yeah. So
day and night job.
Graphic design at the university, and then fine artist.
Right.
But
one of the few.
Yeah. In 2008, my buddy Jeremy, who's also a screenprinter and illustrator, he has a band here in Albuquerque called the Belmont, and they were opening for Murder by Death, and they're one of our favorite bands. So Jeremy wanted to do a gig poster, but he had no idea how to screen print. But I took screen printing in college, but it had been 10 years since I had done that.
Right.
So I dusted off the old screen and brought all the stuff out, and we gave it a shot, and we did it. We were able to screen print it, so we did it. He designed it. It was a Murder by Death poster, and then
That's cool.
He did Census Fail after that, and I did Calexico, and little by little we just started asking bands to do posters. And
so I noticed you said you had some of that stuff on your wall.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
So you were saying that going from
yeah, kind of from 2008 and then all the way up.
So that's cool. So
yeah,
and that's where you got started. And so I know he was the buddy that said was with you at the Comic-Con then,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
We go to the Comic-Cons together. Pretty much we do the Comic-Cons here in town. There's 2 of them, and then we do Phoenix Comic-Con and WonderCon in Anaheim.
Cool.
So
right.
yeah.
So if you guys go to the Comic-Cons, check out his booths. Are you going to be there for this year's
We'll
in
be there
Phoenix?
in Phoenix. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So, so what about your inspirations then? So I mean, is it? I noticed that you have a lot of like movie posters that you're doing,
Right.
and art and music.
With the bands, I just kind of listen to the music and try to get a feel for what the music is and how that translates. Some bands are more specific, like they say, oh, I want a monster, I want, so whatever. But some bands, like for Cold War Kids, I was telling you, they said a lot of our art is kind of like Russian or bears and red and stuff.
Right.
They don't want any of that. They want something completely different that doesn't say Cold War Kids. So I did like a kind of a sci-fi kind of design.
It's cool.
Just totally like left field of what their name says.
Commenting on this earlier, I love this green, a little touch of green to it.
And I hand painted that green too. And then for Cursive, it was a concept album, and it was all about this kind of duality of the Gemini. So it was the 2-headed wolf, the 2-headed swan, the conjoined twins, the sun and moon. It's kind of good and evil motif. So
right.
Cursive gave me that direction in that they wanted me to keep everything.
And so, and just a comment, so me being an artist myself too, one of the things that drew me to your art is your bordering, to be honest.
Oh.
So you see a lot of art out there, right? But they don't frame it. They spend so much time on the subject matter, they don't think about how they want to present that art. Yeah. And you always have such great border work in all of your artwork, and you take a lot of time framing all your pictures, and it just makes such a huge difference.
Thank you. Yeah, this is for Porter Draw. This is a local band as well. And I try to go with that kind of a woodcut look, and keep it kind of dark.
So, and you do the screen printing here, right? So
Yep.
we took some pictures earlier of a press. So you made the press yourself?
Me and my neighbor did, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, Jeremy's father is an artist, and he made his, so we used his for a while, and then I made my own. So
That's cool.
And
I know me and my brother have attempted to do some screen. It's not an easy process, like making
No.
screens and
it's difficult.
yeah, you know, it's not an easy process. So definitely when you see, I know I saw one that you did earlier that I could put a picture up that was at least 5 or 6 colors. Yeah,
Yeah, this one here.
and it's just fantastic. I mean, doing art like that is just, it's not an easy thing to do. So
And that was
really
for
appreciate that.
a local artist named Alex Mariel, and
Yeah.
he's a guitar player and singer, and he didn't know what he wanted except that he wanted a guitar in it. So he didn't know what. Yeah, so he called me one day, and he goes for a run out in the Bosque. It's kind of like a deserty area by a river, and
It's like the San Pedro for us.
okay. And he said he was there, and he was inspired by these blackbirds that were flying over him, and he's like, do something with that. So I just put that whole scene in a guitar, but in doing that, there's a lot of colors there. You don't want to cheat the image.
Right.
So that's why I ended up doing 5 colors.
And for those of you who don't know, when you're screen printing and you're thinking, I only have 5 colors to work with, right? So you have to spend a lot of time like working it out, you know? You're like, what color can I get rid of?
Right.
You know? So.
And then you can fool it too, like in some instances, like with this Galaxy Quest movie poster.
Which I'm going to be picking up right now.
It's only 4 colors, but the way I was able to get the green and the yellow is I use a process yellow, so it's transparent. So when the yellow hits the blue paper, it becomes green, but when there's white underneath, it becomes yellow.
So you screen print like white first.
And white's
and then-
first, and then, yeah.
That's cool.
So that's how you cheat it to get an extra color.
Right. And like I was saying earlier, great use of stippling in a lot of your work, so you can get those nice fades. And yeah. It's good stuff there.
And the dot pattern, we've been able to get a lot tighter too, so it looks more smoother over time.
Right.
You know, in the beginning, we were using really big dots because,
You can't blow them out of your screens, right?
Yeah, we're getting better at it. It only took 8 years.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's see what other questions I got in here. What elements are important for you to have in your art? So when you do art, what do you like to include? I guess so.
Well, I like the image to read the right way. I mean, I tend to do a lot of stuff. I really busy artwork.
Right.
You know, I put everything in there, so I like it to kind of flow. You know, I like to have one central image and then everything kind of around it.
Right.
So it's not too crowded. There are some posters.
There's a lot of movement in a lot of your pictures I've noticed too. So.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that's a nice piece. You know, kind of adds an element to it. The framing and movement for me is what I noticed. Like I was saying earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time, like with this Labyrinth poster, I wanted to put every character in there that I could.
Right.
But, what I did is I just made Bowie really big so it kind of grounds the whole thing, and then it just kind of goes from Sarah.
You should have just made the baby really large. People would have got it.
Just a baby, yeah, by himself.
What, this is the Labyrinth poster? That's so weird.
And I was excited with the border, like you were talking about, because I was able to put all these characters in the border, so I got them all in somehow.
Right, and that's like, again, look, I mean, this is another great example of the detail to the bordering, and it's so cool. I mean, you can just sit here for, a few minutes and just kind of trace it and look at all the things going on there. It's like a second image outside of framing the image, which is cool.
And then, let's see. For Rocky Horror, I tried the same kind of thing. I just concentrated on 3 figures, mainly, and then got the other cast there at the bottom.
So these, so now that we're looking at some of the movie posters too. So there's a theater here that you're,
Yeah.
Like, so they're doing releases, and
Yeah.
let's talk about some of that.
It's a Guild Cinema, and they're a Nob Hill here in town, and they show independent movies, classic movies, art movies. So what they do is they contact us, and they're usually sponsored by New Mexico Entertainment Magazine, Bubonicon Presents, and Bubonicon's one of our oldest Comic Cons here in town.
That's cool.
Kind of like Leprechaun for you guys.
Right.
And Alibi Midnight Movie Madness, and Alibi is one of our local newspapers. So these businesses will sponsor these movies, and they're usually 1 or 2 nights only, and they're around midnight, 11 o'clock or so. So they ask us to do posters for these movies, so we sell them there in the theater, and they're limited run. So
Yep.
we do a limited run of maybe 50 or 60, and then they're gone. Whatever
Right.
doesn't sell at the theater.
It's actually, and for those of you guys like, So the screen print nerds will know some of this, but like when a lot of this stuff happens, like they'll do these like short run posters for movies and things like that, and people will go just to get the posters. They'll go to the movie,
Yeah.
but they want to show up to get the poster. So
We were happy that, I mean, at one point, about 2 years ago, this guy started coming in, and he would just come in and get the poster and then leave. Yeah. So then he made a donation to the theater too, so it was good. He would do his donation. He's like, I've seen the movie, I have it at home, but here's my donation. I'm taking the poster, and then he would go. So
That's cool.
that was cool.
Yeah, so I mean, and a lot of you've done a lot of movies, and some other ones that I can flip through. I have pictures of them. Yeah, like the Rocky Horror and the Bill and Ted one I really like, and Labyrinth. And so you got some great stuff there. What's one of your favorite pieces of yours?
Let's see. I guess.
Hard to ask an artist that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really hard question.
Which
I'd have to say this Dawn of the Dead. It's a poster I did for the Guild as well. And I'm a huge George Romero fan, and it's my favorite of his movies. So yeah, it was an honor to do it. I was so excited.
Like as an artist, being able to portray what you think. And again, check it out. Look at all the
I decided
bits of art
to
around
do the
it.
shopping mall as the border.
Yeah, it's cool.
And the zombies at the bottom, but focus on those three characters.
That's a great piece.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I noticed if you go to your website, what is your website, by the way, too?
It's jonsanchezcreative.com.
Right. So if you go to his website, you have things broken out into like illustrations and the music's related stuff and the movie posters. Mm-hmm. And so if you look under your music posters, you'll notice that one of the ones that pops up is Fleetwood Mac. You have like a Fleetwood Mac tour flyer in there. So how'd you get hooked up with that? How'd that happen?
So Creative Allies, it's a website. It's a contest website where artists can submit their art for bands to use the artwork, and then the reward is like a cash prize, or you get the album and T-shirts and stuff like that. My mom, and she brought me up on it, so I love Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
So I had to do it. So I just I went for it, and kind of try to get everything about Fleetwood Mac that I love in the poster and the illustration, and and you go through several kind of rounds. So it's like top 10, or sorry, top 20th, or top 50. Sorry, and then the
just keep narrowing it down.
Yeah. So then the Creative Allies, you can go and vote, and then that vote gets you top 10, and then those 10 go to the band to pick, because they don't want the actual band to have to go through all those entries. So out of the 10, they pick mine.
That's cool.
So and what I got out of it was I got $1,000 and a signed poster of my art from the band. So
that's cool, right?
Yeah.
I imagine that one's hanging up somewhere.
So me and my buddy, my best friend Byron, he's also in a Fleetwood Mac. His parents brought him up on that. And my mom suggested it. She's like, why don't you just go see him? Use the money to go see him. And I was like, it's kind of like you're giving money back to him, but at the same time, you're getting a lot out of that.
Right.
So me and my buddy went to Vegas and got floor seats, third row, to see him. We were just there in the front.
That's cool.
So it was a blast. It was fun.
That's cool.
We blew all the money, but
Right. But I mean, that's kind of the point, right?
That's the point. Yeah, it was worth it. So.
That's cool. So let's talk about your current projects. So what are you working on right now?
Right now, let's see. The Guild will kind of put out what movies ahead of time or what are going to come. So I know they're doing Ferris Bueller and possibly Goonies. So they kind of put out those feelers, and me and Jeremy will determine who's going to do which. So, and that's far down the line. But currently now I'm actually starting a graphic novel for a buddy. So I'm getting into that. This is my first time doing that. So it's
that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. So
it's a lot of content development.
I'm in the beginning stages of it.
That's cool. And do you have anything that you're going to be bringing that's new to the Comic-Con in Phoenix this year?
For Phoenix, I think new for you guys will be, I had Labyrinth last year, right?
You had Labyrinth last year.
Yeah, so it'll be Rocky Horror, Galaxy Quest, and a couple other gig posters, and some of my Dia de los Muertos stuff will be new. So
perfect.
I'm doing a glow-in-the-dark skull coming up with these roses and kind of Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I love it. So, so look forward to seeing Jon Sanchez here in the Comic-Cons coming up. What's the next one? Is that going to be, is that Phoenix?
Phoenix Comic-Con, yes.
Right, and that's in June? It's in early June. It's early June or late May?
I
Usually-
think it's
Is it?
this year. I think it's further down in June. Yeah.
Oh, they moved it
They
a little bit?
Moved a little bit. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll be in Artist Alley. So
Cool. Yep.
I'm not sure of the placement yet, but
Right. And then again, your website one more time, so people, if you want to pick up some screen prints, they're good price, they're great quality. I can attest to that. He uses good paper and good ink.
it's JonSanchezCreative.com. Jon Sanchez Creative.com. No H in the John.
Right on. Right. All right. Hey, it was a pleasure talking to
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thanks for letting us stop by. I hit him out of the blue, so it's playing our shows, and I've always been a fan of your art, and I knew you were here, and I was like, hey man, can we come interview you and talk to you? So
Thank you.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.